Greetings, 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 great rising. Good morning, y'all, and welcome to Sunday. This is the MoneyFest Destiny Show, and of course, I am Celebrity Mary, and you know what time it is. This is the most segregated hour of the week. So, we here doing a thing that we do, this different kind of Bible study called MoneyFest Destiny. We solving real problems. We got real solutions for real people, and we still talking about what God has to say about money. Hey Gerald, hey Jamie, how y'all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for showing up. I'm sharing. So that's what I'm doing first. That is always the first order of business when you are around here, making sure that the peoples know that God got a thing or two or a million to say about money. How is it? How y'all slipping? Great rising to y'all. I love y'all. How y'all slipping and tripping and dipping around here, acting like y'all don't know that God made money? Did y'all not know that? Did y'all think money just poof showed up out of nowhere? Hey Paul, thank you very much for joining. Did y'all think that money just showed up out of nowhere? That ain't what had happened. That ain't what much had happened. That ain't how it went down. Nope. God invented. Let me tell you something. The Bible says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the Bible also says that there was nothing that was created that was not created by, of, and for God. So everything that we experience in this world is some version of the almighty, omnipotent, omniscient, almighty, all-powerful, all-knowing God. Whatever name you call God, that's who it is, all right? You can say whatever you want to say. It's still going to be God, because what? God is in all, because God is all right? So I'm just saying, I just don't want us to be, I don't want us to be left behind. Some of us have been left behind before a number of times. And I think it's high time for that to come to an end. So this show was created for the express purpose of shedding abroad the good news of the gospel of money. How y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about that? So just give me a moment. Let me share this out to a place or two. All right. And then I'm going to be right back with y'all, because you know how much I love being over here with y'all. You know how we do. Did any of y'all catch the I got something to tell y'all too. But did any of y'all catch the show with me and Dr. Don last night? I can't say it was a show. We just jumped on. We just thought that it would be cool to let y'all see, like, firsthand, like, some of the stuff that happens. I've never enjoyed conversations like the ones that Dr. Don and I have with anyone in the past, because usually the conversations just don't be that. Also, I ain't never been this age before. I got a little bit of maturity on me. Right? Got a little bit of refinement upon myself. You get above a certain age and you begin to desire, your desires change. You start to want to do things differently. You begin to see things differently. You learn, you grow, and you move on. You know what I'm saying? And that is pretty much what has happened in my life. I have grown, and I'm at a place now where who I'm spending time with, how I'm spending time with them, the things that we discuss, all of that has it's always been important, but it's changed. It's changed to a state. Now I've gotten to a state. Okay. I've shared to the places that I think I need to share to. I just stuck, let's see. I think I've shared. Is this showing on my Y'all Ellis page? That's the thing I'm not sure of. Let me see. Let's make sure that it's showing on the excuse me. Let's make sure that it is showing. You know what? This is off topic, but on topic. For the last couple of days, I've been talking about Robert. I have decided he can't have no more of my time. He cannot. I can't. It's too much. It's too many specious arguments, too many red herrings. No one wants to have an honest conversation about that. So I'm just happy to not see that in my timeline anymore. Thank you very much. I probably will not be participating. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to resist, but I think I can make it. I think I can work it out. So here, let me just one more spot. If someone could please share in Bag Lady and the Money School for me, I would be eternally grateful. I appreciate y'all, because I would like to get into it, because we are about 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in. So yeah, if somebody could share to those groups for me, I would appreciate it. All right, let's talk about money. So of course, as usual, I always remind you that there are a couple caveats and warnings. There's a few things that I got to say to you before we get all into the show. The very first thing is that every single opinion discussed, every single argument put forth, everything is all my opinion. Thank you, Jamie. It's all my opinion, or any speaker that calls in. These are their opinions. If there's any advice and you accept it, you do so at your own risk, because we are giving our opinions about things that, let's see, we're giving our opinions about things that we have learned about. Thank you, Gerald. Thank you very much. We're giving our opinion about things that we have experienced that, yeah, appreciate y'all. Oh, y'all are the best. My God, that's what I'm talking about. When man, I'm so grateful to have people who value my contributions in their lives. So thank you all. I'm really grateful to have that. Everybody doesn't have that. And when I tell you that's way more valuable and feels better than money, I'm not making that up. So thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. So anyway, like I said, I'm giving y'all the caveats. We have lived some life. We have had some experiences. We've done some experiments. All of this has happened. And as a result, we're able to come to you with information that we believe is valuable, and that I see people finding value in. So that's the first caveat. You listen at your own risk around here, because we gonna tell you some stuff you probably haven't heard before. The Bible tells you, incline your ear to wisdom. Learn something new, okay? Learn something new. Be okay with learning something new. Yeah, I need y'all to give me feedback. Let me know if I'm hitting the marks that you want me to hit. Let me know if there's something in particular that you want me to talk about in upcoming weeks. Like, you gotta let me know all these different things. The other thing is, I had a conversation a couple nights ago, and some people let me know that yes, they think it's a good idea for us to do this as a call-in show. So I have a call-in number for you if you would like to join the conversation, if you would like to participate in the conversation. The phone number is 929-205-6099. 929-205-6099. And I did copy it into the it's there in the description box. There is a webinar ID. It's 766-687-876. You can't just barge in. You may have to be in the waiting room for a few seconds, but if you hold on, a sister will get to you and I'll bring you on the line. But you got to act right. Now, you can't be coming over here talking trash and trying to take over my show. I will drop your call. All right. So final caveat, don't assume that people are lying just because you've not heard the teaching before now. Again, the opinions expressed, those of the speakers, not necessarily of the show or any advertisers, because they're coming on board too. Any advice given is based on personal experience, independent research by the speaker, engage at your own risk. Again, we still solving real problems, and we're talking about what God got to say about money. This is part 2. I'm continuing this conversation, and I'm telling y'all, I'm still using the same notes from the inaugural show, because there's so many scriptures to the about money. God has so much to say about money that there's no need to change the message. Like, I don't know how many parts this is going to be. I don't know how far this is going to go, because God has a lot to say about money. Who knew? I knew. So anyway, again, the reason that we see the things we see in our economy today is because there are inequities and imbalances in our economies. There are 4 types of workers, or 4 ways of getting money into your home, 4 classes of workers. They're the poor, the working class, the wealthy, and the elite. I have told you guys several times that there are children who are being born right now that will never, ever, 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 ever have to complete a job application or work for a living. And there's some children being born right now who will only work for a living. The poor and the working class, they make up 95% of the world's population, but they only share 5% of the world's wealth. The wealthy and the elite are 5% of the world's population, and they share 95% of the world's wealth. So, the United States of America is only about 8% of the world's population, but the United States consumes about 85% of the world's resources. So that suggests to me that the job of Americans in the United States of America is to be consumers. And, one of the things that happened, when my old bishop, and by old, I mean where I really kind of learned and grew, he used to say, don't swallow your seed. Don't swallow your seed. So, and I know y'all know what that means. He in the context that he was speaking at that time, it was usually around giving. It was usually around tithing and giving and things like that. And he would say, don't swallow your seed. And the truth of the matter is that's true even in a secular context. You don't want to swallow your seed. You want to put your seed someplace where it will grow so that it can produce more fruit, so you can get more seeds, so you have more to harvest. Does that make sense? Marcia says, why are people afraid of working for themselves versus networking or working together to build our communities? We're going to talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up. I actually have some notes about that very thing, Marcia. Thank you for asking that question. But I'm going to bring that up. So investing that is the secular equivalent of offerings, tithings and offerings in a spiritual context or in a church context or religious context. Investing. If you have an investment, so a seed, typically, the metaphor of the seed is so appropriate because typically a seed is much smaller than the fruit that it produces. But it produces more than just fruit. That's the other thing. Oh my God. Woo, this gonna get good early. Hold on, y'all. Let me got a little tear in the corner of my eye. Think about a couple things here. A seed is typically smaller than what it produces, right? This makes it such a perfect metaphor. And it produces more than just the fruit. So when you drop a seed into the earth to grow, right? Let's say that it's an orange seed and you're gonna grow an orange. You want another orange, so you're gonna drop seeds in the ground. You're gonna put that thing in the dirt. You're going to bury it. You're going to make sure that it's watered, and you're going to make sure that the earth stays moist around it. You're going to make sure it gets plenty of fresh air and sunshine, but you're not going to see anything for a long time. I don't know exactly how long it takes for orange trees to grow, but because they grow into such large trees, this could be a years-long process. But you're not going to go digging the seed up to see what happened to the seed, 6 months, 3 months, 5 months, even a year later, going, that seed ain't doing nothing. The whole time you can't see the seed, there are things happening. It's developing roots. It's absorbing nutrients. It is beginning to push out shoots and sprouts. And before you know it, there's a little tiny green shoot coming up out of the ground. And the tiny little leaves and a soft little stem and all of this. And that is the beginning of an orange tree. And then before you know it, it continues the stalk becomes thicker. It starts to, it changes color. There are more leaves. It begins to get taller. It starts to get stronger. It's stronger. It's still receiving more nutrients. The roots are growing deeper and wider, and they're going. Remember, it's just a little tiny seed. The orange seed ain't but about that big. Just a little tiny seed. It's doing all of that. It's doing all of that. All of that energy is being released from this seed, because a seed is storing energy. That's all it's doing. It is a store of energy. It is just holding on to energy. Oh, wow. Thank you, husband. Look at my husband on here talking to me. He don't usually say nothing. Okay. Thank you. That was very nice of you. So it's releasing its energy, and it's releasing its energy over time to perform a specific thing. It is doing a specific thing as it's growing, as it's releasing this energy. So the stem is turning into a tree trunk, and it's getting thicker and bigger and stronger, and it's developing branches. These leaves have to have somewhere to go, so these other little stalks are growing out into branches, and they're getting bigger and they're getting stronger, and more leaves are coming, and then after a while you have this great big old tree. Still no fruit yet. But you got this tree, and this tree's got leaves, and it's got bark, and it's got sap, and it's got nutrients, and it's got all kinds of stuff. And now, here come the insects, here come the birds, here come the things that eat the insects, the things that eat the birds. An entire ecosystem is growing up out of that one little tiny seed, all this energy. And then one day you come out and you notice that this tree has flowers on them. These are you're like, wait a minute. I thought, well, thank you, Dr. Don. I thought I planted an orange tree. Why is this tree giving me flowers? And the next thing you know, those orange blossoms begin, the petals begin to fall off. And you notice that there's like what looks like a little ball or fruit. It's the orange. They're beginning to grow. And as the orange begins to grow, it's developing skin, and it's developing the inner part, and it's developing pulp, and it's separating, and it's doing all the stuff that it's doing, and the pulp is getting juicier and juicier, and more seeds are being made. And before you know it, you can pluck that orange off the tree, cut it open, and lo and behold, in addition to more seeds, there's juice, there's fruit you can eat, there's skin you can use for all kinds of things to help you. It's all, when you think about what a seed is, thank you, Gerald. When you think about what a seed is, if you let yourself see it, woo, seed time and harvest have a whole other meaning. So, like I said, I had to take that little walk around this, because it was in my mind, like that was in my heart. A seed is so much more than what it looks like. And whether you're looking at it from a spiritual or religious context or a secular one, a seed is always the same thing. And you don't want to swallow your seed. You want to put your seed someplace where it will grow so that it can bring to you a harvest. You want a harvest. So it's not lost on me that came to me as we were talking about the inequities and imbalances in the world. In order for a seed to produce a harvest, there has to be a balance. There has to be. Nature demonstrates to us. The seed doesn't go into the ground and strip all of the nutrients out for itself, because then nothing else will grow. You'll notice, if you leave it to grow on its own, if you've ever seen an orchard, no matter what kind of orchard it is, if it's left to its own devices, what you will see is tangles and brambles and bushes and grass and all kinds of life. It is a complete ecosystem. Nature itself, brings one thing, causes a whole bunch of other things to come together and come to fruition. That's what balance looks like. So we're gonna keep going in this lesson. All right. Like I said, this is a different kind of Bible study. And Miss Marcia asked a question a little while ago. Before we go to the questions, let me go back through the trajectory, the predictions and trends. So we talked about the imbalances. We know that, especially in this country, but also globally, that race is a factor, and it's probably a primary driver in obtaining and maintaining wealth. We're going to address that. And the anticipated majority-minority society, that means that the people who are called the majority now will become the minority by numbers at a certain point in this country. We're on track for that. That's a projection. There's a trend we're trending in that direction. But once we get to that point in society, Black and Latino families will have zero wealth by 2053, and white families will still own 6 figures worth of wealth. We talked about that in great detail in the past. The Center for American Progress reported that in 2008, Black people lost almost 100% of their wealth due to the economic crisis. There was 58% of Black wealth lost due to the housing crisis, and 37% due to the 401ks. Remember, the banks were too big to fail and all of that, the overall economic crash. The way that we earn money has changed with this in this post-employment and sharing economy. We just don't get money how we used to get money. So these predictions, these observations, these trends, some of the predictions, all of this is based on stuff that's going on. And these are some of the things that are happening right now. And also the final point is there's a new type of illiteracy. There's a new type of person who doesn't want to learn anything new. They can't pivot. They can't, and it's surprising, really, when you consider who it is. There are some people, there's a group of people called millennials. There's a group of people called millennials who were born with the internet. They were born with smartphones. They were born, like these things may as well have been attached to their hands when they came out of the womb. They were born into this information age, yet they are still wanting to do and being taught to do what their parents did in order to advance in their careers or have a career, right? There was a time when that worked, but the way we're doing things now has changed. The information age has changed that. I mean, look, I don't know what part of the world you're in, but I'm not where you at. And we're having this conversation in real time. You can ask me a question right now and I can answer it. You can actually call and we can have a conversation about it, right? So we live in a completely different time than the you know, those from my generation, these millennials. But millennials and Gen Xers, for the most part, make up what we're calling the new illiterate, because they're the least willing of all generations to unlearn and relearn new information. They cannot pivot. They refuse to pivot. Let me say it that way. They can, they don't want to. They don't want to pivot. They don't want to pivot. So let's go ahead. Let me first address Miss Marsha's question. She says, why are people afraid of working for themselves versus networking or working together to build our communities? Let me tell you how, and Dr. Don gave her a response. Her response is because they've been conditioned to work for others. They're afraid to do what they've never done. Since pre-elementary school, people are taught to be employees. They know nothing else. All of that is true. Let me take you a little bit further down that particular rabbit hole. That's a snake hole. That's not a rabbit hole. That's a snake hole. Let's go down that snake hole for a second. About 150 years ago or more, there was a man named Charles Darwin. And if you pay attention to his story, Charles Darwin, before he became Charles Darwin, he was a bit of a loser. He was what some of us might call to this day, up to now, you know, a fuckboy. He didn't know what he was gonna do with his life. You know, it was not uncommon for parents during that time to decide for children what they were going to be, how they were going to be it, what they were going to do. And his father had some other plans in mind for him, but he was a constant disappointment to his father because he didn't exhibit some of the more manly characteristics that his dad had for him. His father had very low expectations of him, and for the most part, he lived down to them. One day he built a spine, put it in his back, and he said, you know what, I'm gonna do something that I'm scared to do. And he was peculiar. Let me say it that way. When other boys were, you know, wanting to, you know, do manly things, whatever in the world they was doing during his time, he wanted to be playing with bugs and looking at leaves and, you know, looking at rocks and stuff like that. He had no interest in this other stuff. So that is why he was a disappointment to his father. That is why he was considered a loser and all these other things. Is that it wasn't because of anything inherent in him. It was that he didn't fit with the mold and the model that his dad had in mind for him. So he made a decision. His daddy was able, you know, his dad was someone of influence, and he was able to get him a job with at a parsonage, like a church or something. Hold on. Dr. Don says, so you preach from all Bibles. I love it. Every book is a Bible, a collection of stories. Phenomenal. Thank you. Yes. You know where I'm coming from. So anyway, he wasn't interested in that stuff. So his dad was able to get him a job with a parsonage or something like that. He was gonna be a priest, but he wasn't in love with that. He was trying to please his daddy. And he took the job, and while he was there, an opportunity presented itself that made no sense for somebody like him. Made no sense whatsoever. It was to get on this boat. They needed a he wanted to be a botanist. He liked earthy things. He wanted to, you know, explore things and understand stuff, but there was no money in that. So, but this job came up. They needed somebody who would be on this ship and who would be willing to go and catalog specimens from around wherever they were sailing at, and bring it back to the scientific community. And he volunteered to do this. And his daddy was like, I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, you're just not built like that. You ain't got that kind of constitution. You can't stand up to what happens on a boat. Now, these are not cruise ships. He's not on the Love Boat. He doesn't have an Isaac and Julie serving him. Oh, did I just date myself? I'm surprised that hasn't made it back yet. But he was not that guy. He didn't like a lot of this other stuff that these people like. You know, they're sailing on wooden ships, right? They are selling treacherous seas. These are hardened men who have been at sea for most of their lives. These are not people of privilege like he was. This man came from a place where he had, he had a kind of soft upbringing. He was kind of skinny and nerdy, all of that. Well, he takes this job that makes no sense. And on the ship, he basically has to learn to sink or swim, because when he first got on the ship, they just wasn't messing with him at all. They was like, man, this nigga, he ain't gonna mess around and get all us killed. I tell you what, if something go down, that nigga is going overboard. We ain't trying to save him, right? So he figures out, though, how to get along with these people on the ship. He learns how to adapt. He begins to adapt so that he can survive this journey. They begin going to these different islands, and he begins to interact with the different cultures. They begin to teach him things about the flora and the fauna where they live. He begins to catalog. He starts bringing back specimens. He's looking at stuff. He begins to write these papers. He starts to notice certain trends and certain trajectories between these different islands of these different species. And as he's learning, as he's cataloging, he's still developing. He's got to be out in in these new environments. He's no longer under the influence of his daddy. And what begins to happen is he starts to blossom. He begins to grow in strength, just like Jesus did. The Bible says that Jesus began to grow in wisdom and in stature and gain favor with men. And the same thing was happening with Darwin. He was beginning to build out. He was beginning to live up to a standard that was set for him by him, as opposed to and the people who he was working with, because the men on the boat was like, you got to pull your own weight, and you ain't gonna do that being skinny, scary, and nerdy. So you gonna have to do better. And he began to do that. He started doing that to the point that he became, a favorite person on the ship, even went in favor with the captain, who, according to the story, was a very hard man. By the time I think maybe 5, 6, maybe 10 years, who knows, however many years go by, and he gets back home, when he comes off the boat, his daddy barely recognizes him, because he's changed so much. And it's not just how he looks, but it's the way that he carries himself and his stature, the way that he presents, what he's talking about, the things that he knows, his eyes, everything is different about him. And his father recognizes that. His father sees that. And his daddy now ain't got no choice but to respect the man that's standing in front of him, because his daddy was sure that he was going to die going out to do all of this. So I give you all of that to explain to you who Charles Darwin is, because up to this day, right now, in 2019, this society that we live in is still based on Darwinian theory. Survival of the fittest. Well, actually, he says survival of the strongest. So survival of the strongest. Only the strong survive. Dog eat dog. Competition. What is the other thing? General selfishness. Adapting based on what's happening in nature so that you can get to the next thing. Charles Darwin did not have, though, something that we have. He didn't have the benefit back when Darwin was doing his experiments and his learning and putting forth his theories and all these different things. What he didn't have access to was something that we take for granted nowadays. Let's start with that. Simple, basic DNA. They didn't know that the molecule was not the smallest particle known to man. They thought it still was. They thought that was the smallest you could get was a molecule. But we all know that, there are things, we know atoms to be the smallest particle known to man, with tiny things inside of that. We are at nanotechnology. We are at things that are so small. We are at quantum physics. We are at a place where things are so small that the way that they behave is unpredictable. We are at the place where we can literally see miracles happen. And miracle is something that can't be explained, right? We can see it through a microscope. We can see miracles happen. Charles Darwin didn't have that benefit, and if he was alive today, I'm sure that he would change his own theory. He would evolve. This was a man who was growing. This was a man who was open to growing. This is a man who was changing the world with it through his own observations. He would have continued to observe. I believe that. And he would have said probably a long time ago, look here, remember that stuff that we talked about back 150 years ago? That can't be true no more, because now, science is demonstrating that nature is not dog eat dog. Nature is not competition and survival of the fittest. Nature is all about cooperation, collaboration, and support. Everything is interconnected. Sure, you see things like you see in ecosystems where, the bigger things eat the smaller things and all this other stuff. But you cannot, how can you explain, I shared this with Dr. Don recently, if it was survival of the fittest, then explain to me how a Chihuahua can run a whole pack of dogs that are way bigger than the Chihuahua. I've seen that with my own eyes. I saw a Chihuahua run a pack of dogs when I was growing up. Them niggas used to terrorize our neighborhood. It was a Chihuahua who was the leader. And all other manner of stray dogs. But the Chihuahua apparently got the work done. He got the job done, and the other dogs followed. That's just how it goes. Nature is about collaboration, cooperation, and I can see let's explore that for a few minutes, because I see a cartoon playing in my head right now. So imagine this little bitty Chihuahua being the one to bring home the bacon. Literally, he's little, he's cute, he can sneak into places, he can get what needs to be gotten, and he can get out before anybody knows that it's gone, and he can take all that stuff and feed the pack. Because see, the dogs, the pack, they're going to respond to the one that's doing what needs to get done. It's not about how big or you are, how loud your bark is, or how bad your bite is. It's, can you handle the business? Can you get it done? And this Chihuahua apparently was getting it done. And he was getting it done to such a level that, he was getting it done to such a level that the other dogs had no problem following this guy, because you know what they wanted? They wanted to eat every day. They wanted to be able to eat every day. So they followed this Chihuahua. This is how it goes. So I'm just saying, it is not what we've been taught that it is. This society that we live in, this culture that we live in, this corporate democracy that we live in, is a corporate republic that we live in, is all about competition, separation, competition, survival of the strongest, general selfishness. And not just here. You can see it in the Middle East. You can see it in every war-torn area of our shared global space. You can see it. Survival of the fittest is the rule of law. People get it how you can get it. You can see it at street levels. You can see it everywhere. You can see it even in churches. You can see it. You see the competition, and you can feel when it's not healthy, when it's not good, when it's not producing things that are beneficial. You can see it. You can see it. So hold on one moment. I want to find something, because I want to share something with y'all. I want to share something with you. Hold on. One quick minute. One quick moment. Sorry, y'all. I thought I had pulled this up, but apparently I did not. All right. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about that. We're gonna just keep going. I thought I had pulled out something. I thought I had pulled out a scripture for y'all, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. So anyway, we live in, to answer Miss Marcia's question, the reason that you don't see that is exactly what Dr. Don says. And the reason that what Dr. Don said can still be what it is because more than 150 years ago, this structure was put in place and it has not changed. We are still living under the rule of competition, separation, ego, general selfishness, and the ethos of survival of the strongest. So that's the reason why people are so afraid to do something else. We live in. So we've had conversations, and I have shared that, we live in a debt-based economy, but we also live in a fear-based world. We have been taught that we need to be afraid of just about everything. Anything that might change your living situation, you need to be scared of that. You need to be scared of that. You never know. You never know. So let me say, hold on. Let me say this. Y'all know I'm gonna talk about what the Bible said about investing in foreign trade, right? Y'all please indulge me. Please let me be y'all let me live with this tea. My throat. I've been talking for about 2-3 days straight. So my throat. Thank y'all for indulging me. So listen, Ecclesiastes 11:1 and 2. We're talking now about what God has to say about money, right? Gerald, you're 100% right. And it is. It's still referred to as the theory of evolution, and it always will be a theory because there will never be a way to prove what he said conclusively. Also, science in general is all about disproving things. That's just kind of how Dr. Don and Jui, can y'all relax? Thank you. Anyway. You're welcome, Marcia. Yes, science is all about disproving stuff. So yeah, it's gonna always be a theory. Anywho, Ecclesiastes 11:1 and 2. Now, if y'all want to call in, phone number is 929-205-6099. The webinar ID is 766-687-876. You ain't got to call in, but if you want to, that's fine. You're welcome to do it. Because I ain't really ready. I have my stuff. I got everything set up, but my throat is bothering me. So I'm trying to end right at 12 today if it's possible. And if it's not, if you want to call in and we're going to have this conversation, we're going to have this conversation. Ecclesiastes 11:1 and 2. In the Good News Bible, it says, invest your money in foreign trade, and one of these days you will make a profit. Put your investments in several places, many places even, because you never know what kind of bad luck you're going to have in this world. We can talk just about that, because I just gave you a statistic that says back in 2008, when the markets crashed, black families lost 95% of their wealth. Earlier I said almost 100. I'm telling you it's 95% based on the numbers. 58 plus 37 is 95, right? 95% of their wealth. They lost almost everything that they had ever worked for. They lost things that they didn't know they could ever lose. Nobody was thinking, I'm paying my mortgage, but I could still lose my house. Nobody was thinking, when people were signing those agreements for these exotic loans and stuff like that, they weren't thinking, oh, it's gonna get called, oh, the market's gonna crash. Let me hurry up and get in and get out. Let me tell you this. I worked with a man. I was in Miami, of course. This was before I left. I worked with a man who was Cuban. And I was trying to figure out, I had asked him actually, how did you do that? Because he had this big, beautiful home. And I was like, we worked at the same place. And because I worked in the administration, I had an idea of what everyone made. I knew what the ranges were. I don't know what his specific pay was, but I knew what the ranges were. So I knew, like, the number just wasn't adding up. Like, carry the one, I knew he wasn't married. And the only thing I could think was that maybe his parents were helping him, but I knew that there was something going on with whatever it was that he was doing, because he had this big beautiful home, and I was trying to figure out how he did it. And I asked him, and he kind of snickered a little bit, and he started to explain to me about this is the first time I ever heard the phrase balloon mortgage, a balloon payment. So he starts telling me how he got this house. He put down very little money, and he got this big beautiful house, and the goal for him was to have the house for a little while and move out, put the house on the market and sell it for a profit even before the balloon note came due. Now, all of this was news to me. I had never heard anything like this. No one had talked to me about these things. I had no idea. And he says, yeah, a lot of people do that, especially if you have young children. You get them in, you want to get them into a certain school district. You get them in, and every few years you just move. You just keep doing that. You just move. You put the house on the market, and you move into another house, a bigger, better house, while that house is on the market, and you just move. You move before your children go to the next grade, or like have to leave elementary school or something like that. Like, he was describing how this was a strategy that these people were using. It seems like writ large, like everywhere they were doing this. And that was how they got to live in these really nice neighborhoods, send their children to these great schools, these awesome public schools. And they seemed to be doing really well. They were using debt. Whereas we had been taught, we being Black people, had been taught that debt is the worst thing you can have. The last thing you want to do is get into debt. But if you're going to get into debt, you need to get you a mortgage, and you need to sit tight for the next 30 years or so on that mortgage. But when people were getting these exotic loans, strippers and this is not to disparage. So it came out harshly, but it's people, when I say that, who I'm referring to are people who have cash businesses, no real bank accounts to speak of, no investments, no way to prove that the money that they are using to purchase this home that came to them through legitimate means. That's air quotes, because that, they want to know where you get the money from. They were able to get these, like I say, these big ass houses, really nice houses in great neighborhoods. And sometimes they would have several. They were renting some out. They was doing all kinds of stuff down there. But I learned about that during that time. I learned about I didn't know it was a housing crisis or that a bubble was being created at that point, but that's how a bubble gets created. That's one of the ways how a bubble gets created. So you got groups of people who are doing these unusual things in the market. Dr. Don says Black folks don't have strategies. That's the problem. And when you give them one, they won't follow it. We're gonna talk about that. So you got this one set of people. That's what we're talking about right now, Dr. Don, because you got this one set of people who are creating the bubble. They are getting these exotic packages. They're doing what old boy shared with me. They're moving on, putting this on the market at its inflated rate that the market just doesn't support, and they move on to the next one. So they start creating this big giant ass bubble. I had no idea that that's what they were doing, but that's what they were doing. I was trying to figure out how the hell I was gonna get one. And then I got an opportunity to move to Atlanta, so that changed everything for me. And Black people were being told, buy your houses and hold them. Basically, buy and hold this asset for 30 years. Now, Dr. Don has been trying to make sure that people understand that a mortgage is a liability and not an asset, right? She's been talking about this. She's been trying to help people to understand that, and folks want to argue and fight with her about it. But here you go. But they were using language like that. They were basically saying, when you get this asset, so you think you got you something, so you can hold on to it for 30 years because this is an asset. When in fact, the mortgage itself really is a liability. It is, and the mortgage itself has a life. That's literally what it means. Until the death of the debt. That's the literal definition of what that word is. So anyway, all of that is happening. So most Black people got their money tied up in their home with this big giant bubble brewing, and that bubble was creating other bubbles in the market. So the other place where black families had their wealth was in 401k. Because again, we being told, put your money over here and we're gonna take care of it for you. Don't worry about all that that's in there. Here, we're gonna give you this paper. Here, see that paper right there? Then you go, yeah, there go your paper. And you can see what your investment's doing. You can see, you made $30 last month. Over time though, you gonna get, a 30, 50, 90% return. You just gotta let it stay. You just gotta be patient. You can't be taking it out. This is what was being told to most black people. This is where most black people held their wealth, in their home and in their 401k, which I promise you, we are going to have that 401k conversation. That is the biggest scam ever. But we're going to have that conversation, just not today. Because like I said, I'm wanting to finish a little bit. I'm going to keep it a little tight today because my throat. So anyway, yeah. So like Dr. Don just said, we have not been strategic. The Bible tells us to be strategic with our money. The Bible teaches us that. If you don't believe me, go get your Bible. Go to Ecclesiastes 11:1-2. Now, depending on which Bible you read it in, you're going to see something like, cast your bread upon the waters, and in some time it may come back to you. That is a language we don't use anymore. Look for plain English. I read this in the Good News Bible. We're not casting bread. We know that bread refers to wealth. We know that bread refers to substance. We know that. Dr. Don says black folks don't diversify. They didn't do research and didn't have a plan. The Bible tells you that. Ecclesiastes 11:1-2. Just that scripture, all of the stuff that this lady is saying, all of the stuff that she's saying is right there in the Bible. Ecclesiastes 11:1-2. And I challenge anyone to explain why that doesn't make sense. Explain why it does not make sense for everybody to follow this advice. The Bible tells you, have a strategy, have a plan. You don't know what's going to happen. Two whole separate sectors, housing and banking, collapsed in on each other. Who would have thought? Those are the most stable investments, right? 30 years on a mortgage, 30 years, the bonds, 30 years on a bank bond, on a city bond, a municipal bond, 30 years. Those are the most stable things that you can invest in. That's what they told us. Yet. So Dr. Don said, how you gonna have a call-in show, tell people not to call in? Is that in the Bible? That is in the Bible. I'm telling people can call in. They can call. What I'm saying is, I just want to finish at 12 today because I need to rest my throat. But I've given the number several times, plus it's right there. Ain't nobody calling. I'm just gonna sip my tea. I'm sipping my tea. People can call. Hey, Monica, thank you for that sunshine, honey. You so sweet, Dr. Don over here. So, invest your money in foreign trade. So you know that I recruit for a school that teaches how to trade in the foreign exchange market. Y'all know, everybody know, because I tell everybody. All right, I tell anybody that's standing close enough to me to hear my voice that where I put my money, and actually I don't put my money in that market in that way. What I do, girl, okay, y'all be encouraged. Be encouraged in the Lord. Call, y'all, somebody call. Please, I'm begging y'all to call at this point. I'm serious, and if we go over, it's okay because the FCC ain't got nothing to say about this. So if we go over, we just go over. So y'all call me. Y'all call the number 929-205-6099. The webinar ID is 766-687-876. I know I did do that. I know I did. You know what I need? This is a sidebar. This ain't got nothing really to do with this, but it does. It's tangential. What I need is some vocal coaching. That's what I could benefit from. I have been doing a lot of talking lately, and I know that I'm not using my instrument properly because I feel it in my throat. So I could use some vocal coaching. I could stand to follow some old instructions that I know help you be able to continue to do the work that I'm doing. So you're 100% right, Dr. Don. You're 100% right. I'm done with that part of it. I ain't discouraging people no more. I'm encouraging y'all to call. So anyway, back to the foreign trade. So I teach people, excuse me, I don't teach people. I invite people into a school that teaches you how to trade in the foreign exchange market. You may or may not know that there's $5.7 trillion floating around your head right now. You might not be able to see it, but it's there. How do I know it's there? Because I know that money is it's just numbers on the screen right now. Them little pieces of paper that you got are representations of the numbers on the screen. That's what it is. It's a way for us to be able to transact business with ease, right? It's a way for us to conduct commerce with ease. It's a way for us to be able to keep the flow moving, cash flow, right? That's what those little pieces of paper are. But most of us are not even using little pieces of paper anymore. We got little cards, little plastic cards with mag stripes on the back, right? And all it is numbers on the screen. The ethers are around about us all the time. Let's see, Dr. Don say start on YouTube, their vocal coaching exercise. Okay, yeah. Okay, I will. Thank you. YouTube is the answer for a lot of things. YouTube is the answer for a lot of things. Whew, YouTube is why you don't need money for everything. Seriously. YouTube is the answer for a lot of things. And a part of me knows that because I know we had this conversation before because I hear it playing back in my head right now. But, sometimes I'm still learning. I'm still working through my stuff, Dr. Don. Still working through it. So anyway, the economy really is it's nebulous. There is no real hard thing that you can pick up and call your economy. There is no real thing that creates the economy that's tangible. It's nebulous. It's out there. It's numbers on the screen. This is what it is. It's ones and zeros. It's numbers on the screen. Gerald says you shall buy meat of them for money that they may eat. And you shall also buy water of them for money that they may drink. This is in Deuteronomy. Gerald, what does that mean? Because it says, what I'm understanding is, that you may eat. So the Bible is saying transactions. The Bible is talking about transactions. It's saying you gotta have money. I need to add that one. That's not one that I have. Deuteronomy 2:6. Do I have that in my list? You need money to live in this world. That's what that just said to me. If you want to eat, if you want to drink, you gonna go buy your food and drink from people using money. Wow, that's a good one. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm gonna add that one because that's not on my list. The only one I have on my list is and this is not even, oh yeah, it is. This is Deuteronomy 8:18. God gave you the power to make to get wealth. That's a big deal right there, Gerald. That's a big deal. I need to put that right in the beginning of my discussion with whomever, wherever, whenever. If you want to eat, you better have you some money. That's what the Bible's. That's a good one. That is a good one. Woo, I am putting that. That one is going in the repertoire. I'm putting that in right now. Deuteronomy, and I'm gonna bring it up in King James so I can well, you got it there in King James, so I'm come on, why you tripping? All right, I guess I gotta come back to it because it ain't acting right. If you want to eat because you live on earth, ooh, does anybody else feel like running? Does anybody else feel like shouting up in here? Does anybody else, if you ever had a concern that this show was gonna be a lie, there you go. Okay, thank you, Marcia. I will do that. I will send you a voice recording. Gerald, that right there is a gem, bruh. That's a gem. That's the gem. If you want to keep living on earth, you better get you some money. That's what I had heard. That's what I heard. That's how I interpreted that. That's what I heard. God said you gonna be on earth, you need some money. So let me give you guys oh, Marcia, your picture just popped up. You are a very pretty lady. Let's see where we are going here. Deuteronomy, because I do want to bring this. I gotta do this. I gotta go here. Deuteronomy 2 and 6, right? If you gonna live on earth, you need you some money. Oh, that's a good one. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. NASB. Let's go. Wow. I gotta go look at this and see who God is talking to specifically. Let's see. Oh, this is let me tell you. So Deuteronomy 2, 1 through 5. He is speaking to the children of Israel. This is after they coming out of the wilderness. They trying to get out of the wilderness. So they at the end. They at the end of their 40-year journey, y'all. They at the end. And the Lord said to them, you done circled this mountain long enough. Now turn north. Woo! 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 Oh my. This is good. This is juicy, y'all. This is juicy. Juicy, juicy, juicy. Don't provoke these people as you going through here. Don't, this they territory, so don't provoke them people. And in fact, when you dealing with them, even though I'm with you, don't bother with them folks. Don't provoke them. Oh, this is so good. Oh my God, this is so good. Thank you, Gerald. This is so good. I'm flooded right now. I'm flooded. I'm full. Not just this Deuteronomy 2:6, but reading through this entire scripture, reading through this part where God is basically saying, so I see this. I am energized like a mug right this second. The way that I see this is us here in the US, right? We want to change the system. We want to overthrow this evil system. But that's not a good idea. And it's not necessary. Hold on. Message just popped up. And it's not necessary. The Bible says, listen, this place where you going, you've been in this place where you at long enough. It's time for you to go ahead and come on out of here, right? You're going to have to go through some things. You're going to have to go through some lands with some people that you don't like and that they don't like you. They are easily provoked. Don't provoke them. Don't even make a footprint on their mountain. Just be humble, get through like you need to. And in fact, you're going to be a blessing to them. You're going to buy food so you can eat. Because remember, while they're going through the wilderness, God is sending manna every day. You're going to use the money you got to buy food from them. And I'm looking at the wrong camera. Sorry, y'all. You're going to use the money you got to buy food from them. You're going to use the money that you got so you can buy water from them. And you're going to go on through their land to get to the promise that I have out here for you. Lord Jesus, tell me that ain't preaching. That is preaching by itself. Tell me that ain't preaching. Tell me I call you a liar right to your face. That is preaching all by itself. That is preaching all by itself. Gerald, that's a good word. That's a good word. Gerald, is you a preacher? You around there holding out on us? Is that what's happening? Did you know that Gerald was a preacher? Did you know that Gerald was around here preaching up some? Did you know? That was a good word, brother. Thank you so much. Ooh, I'm telling you, I feel hot right now. Like I feel like I'm on fire. My ears are burning. It wouldn't feel like it might be burning whatever is in my throat up out of there. That was a good word, Gerald. I'm grateful. Listen, yesterday we had a conversation. Dr. Donna and I had a conversation about Super Scent. Super Scent is a lady who has she has a cosmetic line, and she went viral making $1 million off of selling makeup, selling box crayons, selling makeup in about 90 minutes. She made $1 million, right? So I learned about her late, and this is what we were saying. Okay, got it. Got it. Got it. So did I get that understanding correct, sir? Mr. Teacher Man, did I get that correct? Because that was a good word. Did I get a good interpretation? You know, did I miss something? I don't know, but that was a good word. It stirred me up real good. So anyway, Super Scent. So we were having this conversation on the phone. I was sharing with her. So at first I didn't tell anybody. I recorded myself because I really was very excited about how I was feeling. And what happened, me and her got on, me and Dr. Don got on the phone, and I was sharing with her how excited I was and why I was excited. And I was sharing with her how I had decided, I made a decision. Thank you, sir. I made a really good, a firm decision, a very firm decision that even though I didn't help her make that $1 million, I am going to help her make her next $1 million. I'm not going to miss that opportunity. And it is indeed an opportunity to help someone to achieve goals and acquire dreams and things like that. It is indeed an opportunity to be able to do that. And I was actually excited. I feel full. Even now, I feel full about that opportunity. I feel full about being a part of her this leg of her journey. I feel very, very full about that. I am excited, and I'm excited to help others. We help people make millions of dollars every single day. We help people. We help them. We buy stuff every single day, and every single thing that you purchase, every single thing that you barter for, every single thing that you bring, you know, from wherever, when you take ownership of it, you're helping someone else to advance their dream. Now is the time, though, to be deliberate about it. Now is the time to have a clear intention and make a firm decision about which people you're going to help in what way and for what purpose. So I have decided that I am going to help Black women become millionaires. I'm going to do everything I can, and I'm not excluding anyone else per se, but I am particularly and keenly focused on Black women, Black people overall, but Black women in particular. When you think about the fact that, again, 95% of Black wealth, who's the primary breadwinner statistically in Black families? That's Black women. So who's got the house and who's got the 401k and all this other stuff? Black women. So who got hit the hardest? Black women. So I am set and determined that I am going to help Black women become millionaires. If that's a goal that you have, join the Money School, get on that announcement, the Rich Family Networking. Make sure that you post a link to your business right there. Invite people to the Money School. If you got something that you're working on, if you want to learn about money, if you want to understand how money really works, get into the Money School. Go over there, get in the school. It's a school, like for real. We teach you how money really works. It's a real live school. It's online. The community is online, but there's online classes, and there's a brick and mortar school. So don't sleep on that. The other thing that I want y'all to pay close attention to is I am still teaching, I'm teaching financial self-defense classes beginning on January 19th. This is the first class for this year. And what the financial self-defense class is going to teach you is how to get your hands on up to $150,000 in business credit. I'm teaching that as a class. I am teaching you if I do the work for you, then you're going to always be reliant on me or somebody like me to get that work done for you. And there's mystery in it. I'm demystifying the whole process. I'm giving you everything. By the time you're done with this class, you're going to be able to qualify for up to $150,000 in business credit. You're going to know every step that you have to take. You're gonna know every step that you need to take in order to qualify. You're gonna know what you need to change, when you need to change it, how to change it. You're gonna know everything that you need in order to complete this process and qualify for up to $150,000 in business credit. That may not sound like a whole lot to you unless you're somebody who's never had $150,000 in business credit. But we're gonna also that right there is what we call a gateway. That's like gateway credit. That's going to get you in the door. These lessons are going to ground you so that you can go on to get the 500,000, the million, the 2.5, the 5 million, and on and so forth. We talked last night about the fact that credit is leverage. Don't let missteps from your past. Don't say, oh, that's so hot, I ain't never cooking no more. Don't let missteps from your past keep you from your destiny. Your profit is in your purpose, and I know this to be true because I got a show all about that on Tuesdays. Starting actually, it started. Dr. Dawn's my first guest for the year. This Tuesday, I have a beautiful lady coming on. Her name is Verlaine Quinney. She is still in the workplace, but she's got some awesome stuff to share about those of us who, or for those of us who are considering or have made the transition from the workplace into the marketplace. That's every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. That's Bag Lady Revive. Some of you know it is the Bag Lady Radio Show. I've revived that show. Okay. Inbox me for details on anything that I just talked to you about. If you heard something you're not quite sure, this is recorded, so you can always just play it back. But if not, and you need some more information, then go ahead and inbox me. January 31st, save the date. We are doing a launchathon. We're doing a launchathon. We're going to be showing you, we're going to be premiering and debuting some premium products, a premium product called 8.9. We're going to be premiering a premium product called 8.9. And 8.9 is exactly what Dr. Dawn was talking about: strategy, how to build wealth, how to grow wealth, how to maintain the wealth once you get it. You definitely want to be tuned in that day. We got some great presenters, some great people who are going to help you understand what it is that we're doing. You again, join the money school. Y'all know I always say, join the money school. Join the money school. Ain't no reason for you to not join the money school. And know what? I'm going to copy and paste all of this right here for y'all, so that is all this information that I'm giving you is right. It's going to be right here. So all you got to do is click the links and go do what I told you to do. Just do what people tell you to do. Just do what the people tell you to do. So what else? I think that's all in the way of trading in the Forex market. So this is, I know Miss Marcia wants me to send her an email, and I will do that. But if you are interested in learning more about the school that I mentioned, trading in the foreign exchange market, learning how to trade in the foreign exchange market, my link is there. It's www.imarketslive.com/goldenhearttrust. When you join a team like my team, and you will be kind of like, I would be the equivalent of, so your recruiter invites you to the school. You get to the school, and then they hand you off to the counselors, right? And the counselors help you to develop your courses of study and put your schedule together and all of those things. So I'm a recruiter. So I don't have any role to play per se once you get into school. However, if what you want to do includes being able to recruit, as I do, because I do get paid for recruiting, then you will be on my team. I get credit for having introduced you to the school. And when it's time, when you decide that you want to make some money in that way, then you let me know. We have a conversation about it, and I can get you going. So that's what the link is all about. That's how this all works. I just want to be sure that everybody is clear on how this thing really goes. Okay. So, I think that's it. I think I have that. I didn't know, Gerald. I'm telling you, you really helped the sister with that scripture that you gave me. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention, sir. Because, like I said, the most talked about, like when I say that, I'm not sure people believe it, but that is God talking about money. That is God talking about how to keep peace with money, how to stay safe with money. Come on, man. Second most discussed topic in the Bible is money. This has been the MoneyFest Destiny Show. I cannot wait to see y'all again next Sunday live. This is going to replay again tonight at 6 p.m. So if you have questions, you can come on and you can ask those questions, because it'll show live again. The other thing is that it will play again on Thursday at 6 p.m. So there are replays. So this, you can hear this. Please share this video, share it with your friends, your family, your loved ones, people who you think would benefit from learning more about money. Just get the word out there. Let's help each other. I really do want to help Black women become millionaires. I'm real serious about that. Okay. All right, y'all. I love y'all, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. Peace.